I do something called the 5-star shout out. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in. You can't make a. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we here, baby. We here. Everybody get excited this Saturday morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. That's right. I'm here, the Ignorant Thinker Podcast. I'm here with the Chocolate Girl.
Okay. What's up?
Oh, I thought you froze for a minute.
I didn't froze. I just felt real still. I thought I missed my cue or something. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said it. First of all, I've been on point saying it for a while. You ain't even have to say, "Oh, Dennis, you ain't said it." I've been saying it for a while now. Okay, I've been on point.
You've been saying get that part right. You've been saying right. It right. Yeah, but we excited. Aren't we excited today?
We are excited today. We got a good show coming, y'all. We got another Putting on the Pod series, but this is like a Putting on the Pod / writer's block over here, man. Listen, we're introduced to a guy who's going to great places, man. This young man right here has a podcast, Real Talk with MJ. Then he has Miles Johnson TV. He's also building a media network. And at the same time, he just graduated Morehouse, all right? And right now we're going to NYC for journalist school. Am I saying it right? Is NYC journalist?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah, you got it right.
Okay. Yeah. So he's right. Like I said, he's doing big things, man. We catching him young too, because we had the Michael Cole who was on that same ride. So we catching him young. Just want to let y'all know. And he's from Philadelphia. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for MJ.
Oh,
What's up, man?
That's right.
I'm glad to be
glad to have you.
The side John, you feel me? Y'all know I'm from Philly, like so.
Yeah.
To get into it, like you've been supporting me, a lot. I know I was on the podcast might have like a year and a half or like a year ago. But yeah, I definitely wanted to just show love and talk some Philly sports, all that. I know you got the Phillies hat. I know we was supposed to play today. It was supposed to play today. I was about to put in a little ticket for that, John, but we're gonna play tomorrow. I think Kelsey and Cox about to throw the first pitch, but yeah, I'm excited.
That's good. That's good to hear. Now listen, we asked everybody this. We're gonna start with you because you're our guest. How was your week?
No, it was good. It'd be a little bit tiring because we got got school coming back from spring break, so it's like you chilling. Last week was spring break. So getting back in the flow of classes and all that, and then had my internship with First Things First with Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, all them. It's cool, but yeah, it's definitely a grind.
That is definitely what's up. Chocolate Girl, how was your week, Chocolate Girl?
I've had a great week. It's been really a good week. I've had a good writing week, actually. I'm still working on my book, and I got a couple of more chapters done. So I'm happy about that. So it's been a good week. Feeling pretty good. Family good. Job good. Oh, speaking of which, I got a promotion on my job. So I'm really happy about that.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
So how's your week been?
As far as my week has been good. I'm on spring break this week, so I ain't had to work with the kids this week. I've been chilling. You know what I mean? No kids, no bad situations, no nothing. Just been at home enjoying myself.
No glizzies?
No glizzies. No, I'm not giving out no glizzies this week. No glizzies. Yeah, no glizzy. I got them one day. One day we had meatball. We had meatballs, and the alternative was glizzies. So they was actually, it was like, what we got? We got balls and glizzies. That's what we got today. They was
Oh,
mad.
Oh
But
no.
yeah.
oh, Diddy. Oh, Diddy.
We we ain't had no issues this week, man. This has been a real good week. This was a good week off right here. Ain't nothing but about a good 10 weeks left of school. So then I got the whole summer off. So I'm excited, man. I'm happy about that. But
What's up?
like I said, we got a multi-talented guy here. We about to have a star-studded show, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do it.
So yes, let's do it. Chocolate girl, go ahead. Do you think?
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I've been very excited because I believe when you came before, I was not here. So I didn't get a chance to meet you. It was one of those rare occasions that I wasn't here. So I'm so glad to meet you tonight. But first of all, how did you get started in journalism? When did you decide you wanted to be a journalist?
I would say like I always had a love for sports. Like I grew up
Mhm.
playing soccer, and I was always maybe like one of two black kids on the team, but I still loved it. I still loved it a lot. I played since I was 5, so sports was always in my life. Then I remember vividly the 2016 NBA season and the Cavs, Warriors. Me and my
Mm,
pops, we were watching the finals together, and like I was just super like invested in it because I'm from Philly. Like I grew up in Philly, but I was born in Cleveland. So like when LeBron came back to Cleveland, I was like, oh yeah, number one, this is my team again. And then I was like, I like LeBron now. I used to not like him no more. I used to when he was on the Heat, I did not like. I had the utter I had so much dislike for that man, but he went back to Cleveland. He became like my favorite athlete. And so we in that finals, I remember that game 7, Kyrie hits the biggest shot in NBA
mhm,
history. LeBron has the most famous block in NBA history. And I just remember I'm going crazy. My dad, he's recording and he's like, "Where you from, Miles? Where you from?" And I'm so happy. I'm thinking I'm
mhm.
LeBron. I say I'm from Akron. No, I was born in Cleveland. So like, so he say so, and so we started laughing. But after that, I started watching more and more like sports debate shows, like stuff on ESPN and Fox Sports. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's an actual job just to talk about sports. Like,
Mhm,
sign me up for that. And so
mhm,
my dad, a he took me on uh, a trip to go see Morehouse College, and he got me a sit down, just talk with the director of the journalism program. And so I'm in that talk. He's like, "Oh, so you want to do journalism?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be the next Stephen A. Smith. I want to talk. I want to be talking, every weekday about sports like that. That seems cool." Then he asked me, he
mhm,
said, "All right, so how much writing do you do? Are you in the school newspaper?" At
mhm,
that point, I did nothing like that. I just knew I wanted to talk about sports. So he was like, if you want to actually pursue this and you're serious about this, you need to get involved in your school newspaper. So that following
mhm,
year, my junior year, I got involved in the school newspaper. My first paper that I wrote, or first article I wrote rather, was actually it wasn't even a sports article. It was an article on uh, Chinese students at school. I was at a private school right off City Line Ave in Wynwood called Friends Central.
mhm,
And so a lot of like Asian students, Chinese students, they like came and I wrote an article about that. And then my senior year, I started to write more and more sports articles. I got a internship with Miss Patty Jackson at WDAS for my senior project, but before I graduated high school, and she allowed me to just like think of sports topics, kind of like she allowed me to have my own little sports segment on one of her YouTube lives, and I was very passionate at that time. We had Jimmy Butler, we were facing Kawhi and these guys.
mhm.
We had a real shot to win a championship that year.
Right.
It didn't go our way, but I would definitely say that. I also remember, even like backtrack a little bit, when the Eagles won the title. I
Mhm.
mean, like 2016 the Cavs win, and then 2017, the Eagles win. I mean, like I was in sports heaven, so it's kind of a little bit about like how my love of sports just like first started, and then when I got to Morehouse, um, my freshman year, it got cut short a little bit because of COVID. So I remember
Mhm.
I'm on spring break in Miami. I'm turning up with the guys. Then we get an email on the Wednesday of spring break. We had that full week. On that Wednesday, they said you got to come back home or come back to campus, pack your stuff, and leave by that Saturday. So we had to
Mm.
cut our trip. We had to cut our trip short, go back to school, pack our stuff, and abruptly leave to go back home. And while I'm home, I'm thinking like, what can I do like with this extra time? I was, feeling very down because my, semester got cut short. I'm back in the house where, it's not really where I want to be at that point. I want to be back in Atlanta. And
Mhm.
but it was always something on my mind to start my own podcast, start my own platform that honestly nobody else can take away from me. And so
Mhm.
kind of thought about it a lot. And then in July 2020, I started Real Talk with MJ. It's just been like a blessing to like uh, learn skills in front of the camera, behind the camera, and I'm still learning every single day. But I look back at some of my first episodes, and I'm like, oh, like that was terrible. I thought it was great at that time, and I know like 3 years from now, 2 years from now, even like maybe next year, I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't like how that episode went, but it's all about growing, getting better every day. So yeah, again, that's little bit about Miles, and as they kind of know me as Real Talk with MJ.
Cool. I like that. MJ.
Yeah,
That reminds me of Michael Jordan, though, not LeBron. But
yeah.
anyway,
Hmm.
so that's when you decided to start your podcast. When you first started, did you have all the equipment all laid out nice and so, or did you just start out with a phone or a laptop and a
So,
light and nothing else?
so I ended up. At first, I remember I got like this microphone. Might have been like $40 from Amazon that summer. Um, and I first started off with that, and
Mhm.
and it was only audio episodes. Like it wasn't video. I didn't
Mhm.
start video until after I got some unemployment money. And so once
Mhm.
I started to get those, I remember one of my friends, because I was working at Giant in Wynwood off
Mhm.
Lancaster Ave, and I'm busting my behind to make like 250, 300 a week. And my friends that aren't working are making like 800 a week off the unemployment checks. I'm like, so I quit and I was like, I'm doing this. I'm getting that unemployment check. So I got the unemployment check, and then I just invested that money. I invested in designer. Like I got a couple of like nice things, like some shoes, some New Balances, 990s and all that. That's a real Philly thing. But like, I didn't really like invest in real designer stuff. I was like, I'm getting this much money. I might as well invest that into getting the top tier equipment. So I got
Mhm.
a Shure mic, which is like top of the line,
Yeah.
and that was like 400 or something. I got myself a camera, Canon M50, like over 600, um, and I got different subscriptions to editing software, to software to create graphics. So I just took an opportunity in a time where we were literally getting as a not as a 19-year-old kid, I'm getting 600, $800 a week for doing nothing. Let me go ahead and invest that in myself. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of how I got my equipment, and I still use that same equipment to this day.
Well, smart though. That's being resourceful.
Hmm.
That's what that is. But what was the hardest part of getting started?
I would say, I would say getting over the fact that like it wasn't nobody watching my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
initially. And so it was like getting over, I don't care about the views. I just care about doing something I love to do. So like once I
Mm-hmm.
got over that, it didn't matter if I had 5 people listening, 5 views, 5 likes, whatever it was, 5 subscribers. I just loved to do it. And then
Mm-hmm.
like over time, as I started to get better at my skills, then I started to gain more of like a following, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be at. Like, I'm nowhere near, and every day I'm like, I look up to like other podcasts. Like, I love what, I mean, he's an athlete, but I love what Shan Sharp does, and I love the efficiency, that whole poster episode. Then he has several segments of like the full episode. Like he might have a
Mm-hmm.
2 hour episode, but he'll have like 10 different segments that are like 7 minutes long, you know,
Mm-hmm.
about like a specific topic. And so, but like, yeah, initially it was definitely like a hurdle to be like, I don't really care, about the views, about that. It's just something I love to do. And then next thing I knew, I'm starting to get more of a following, but that was like the biggest hurdle I had to overcome.
Okay. Now, are you based out of Philly, or where are you based out of?
Yeah, I'm based out of Philly. Lived in Overbrook since I was 6. I was born in Cleveland, and I moved to New York when I was 1, up until I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anything of Cleveland. I remember some parts of New York, but I got to Philly in the first grade. Like that's what I call home. Like that's where I have all my friends. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and my little sister, she was born in Philly. Like I don't have any friends in Cleveland or, um, in New York. But I will say, uh, it was primarily like my dad, which is the reason why like we moved, because he's a pastor, and so he was an assistant pastor in Cleveland, then he was an assistant pastor in New York, and then he became a senior pastor in Philadelphia, and so I was kind of always brought up in the church, uh, and yeah, but yeah, like Philly, Overbrook is definitely like my roots. So it's cool to just go to like Overbrook Pizza and then see Will Smith like as one of like the pictures on there, like that was like his spot. Or go to
Mm-hmm.
Overbrook. My favorite spot to get some water ice is King's. It's right across the street from Overbrook High School. I got the best. Like Rita's is cool, and like Rita's is cool. And I get that sometimes, but King's, you watching King's, that's really it. And it's about to be springtime, so I'm putting you on. King's is that. King's is that.
All right. Well, shoot, if I get to Philly, I know where I'm going,
Yeah.
because Dennis said something about that place before. But so, how do you have guests on your podcast, or is it primarily you just talking sports? Or talk a
Yeah.
little bit about your real talk with MJ.
Yeah, so initially, like it was just me. It
Mm-hmm.
was just me talking. I would talk for 30 minutes straight. I would talk for an hour straight. And then because it was kind of hard for me, honestly, to trust people to have him on my platform. Like it was extremely hard because uh especially once I started to like get a following, because it was
Mm-hmm.
like uh where were you when ain't nobody was listening? Now you want to be on the podcast. Like we ain't doing free favors. I here, but it's this one guy named Kobe, and he's a Morehouse. He's a senior right now, and we connected immediately because he's a sports journalist. I'm a sports journalist, so we would work with each other. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in with the school newspaper at Morehouse and go to different events to each other. And he was kind of like my right hand man uh, in sports. Um, and it was kind of like I looked at him as a mentee, but it was also like you just like a friend of mine. So like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of just naturally was like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And he was like, yeah. And then he ended up being a co-host of mine. So now every Tuesday evenings, me and him, we have our show under Real Talk with MJ, which is called Legends Live Forever, and we
Mhm.
just talk about what's going on in sports, and then I also have interviewed like athletes, college athletes. I probably say some notable people have been Nakobe Dean, who's a linebacker for the Eagles right now, and Monet Davis, since sensation in the Little League World Series when she was
Mhm.
younger, but now she's in New York with me actually at Columbia University getting a master's in sports management. So
Mhm.
um, those are like a couple of notable people. So we try to like have two notable guests like a month. But me
Mhm.
and Kobe, we have our weekly episodes every week on Tuesday.
So, so tell me something that you've learned about yourself from doing these podcasts.
I would say I feel like I'm definitely a hard worker. Like I get that from my pops. And he would always tell me growing up, like, you were smarter than I ever were. Like my pops, he went to Morehouse, but he
Mhm.
got rejected twice before his hometown pastor had to call up the school because he was a Morehouse alum and say,
Mhm.
I'm vouching for this guy. I'm putting my name on the line for this guy. You need to accept him. And they
Mhm.
accepted him. If they didn't accept my dad, I don't know where I'd be at. Like, I don't know where I'd be at. He's from Texas. I would probably still be in Texas now. He probably would have never even gotten out. Morehouse was his only way out of
Mhm.
of Austin, Texas. So uh, he wasn't the smartest, but he was the hardest worker. And so like even with him like starting his own church in East Mount Airy, Philadelphia, like I started to see like firsthand like the grind, the work ethic that it takes to really just start your own thing. And so uh I kind of like subconsciously like took that with me when I started Real Talk with MJ. And I think when I look back, like growing up, like with my dad and my mom has like she's like a superwoman herself. But just like growing up with them, I might wake up at 9:30. They're already at work, like, have done like two meetings
Mhm.
and so kind of growing up in that household where I have two grinders, two very hard workers, it kind of helped me to develop that mindset and develop hard work as uh turn into a habit and then like a routine. So I would definitely say that like the podcast taught me hard work and resilience too. And I say
Mhm.
resilience because I've had and I still have a stutter. And so you think of podcasting, when you think of people that are on air on TV or something, like having a stutter is like an oxymoron kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
you can't have a stutter and be on air and stuff like that. And so there was times where I would stutter on my podcast. I would just keep on going. Um,
Mhm.
and I realized that I realized that uh public speaking, regardless if you stutter or not, it's a skill that you have to learn. Like
Mhm.
I'm nowhere near where I want to be in public speaking, but I know that I was much better than I was when I first started in July 2020. And so it's just about again continuing to grow every single day and going back to that hard work, no excuses, and just put your head down, and work.
Work. That's right. Well, for my last question before I turn it back over to Dennis, where what was I going to ask you? Where do you what direction do you see taking this podcast? And are you trying to grow the podcast, like grow subscribers and followers? Is it something that you're going to keep for a hobby or something that you really want to make a business and advance it?
Yeah. I would say I would say I would say with real talk, I really see it as like what I'll do like in my career.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing the way that just media itself has like shifted. Like we're seeing more and more people start their own platform. I'm grateful that like God put it in my heart to start a podcast back in 2020 because I feel like I have a step ahead from people that they want to start one right now. They want to start one last year. And
Mhm.
so I feel like just having that like that kind of head start when it kind of like wasn't necessarily like the most popular thing at the time kind of helped me get a jump start of like knowing the different skills that I need to know. Like I edit all my like all the content, almost all the content, whether it's like a reel or something. Uh, I edit it myself, or like if it's breaking news, like and I need to like create a graphic.
Mhm.
Um, I do. I was able to like get a team around me, but at the end of the day, like, and my dad told me this too. Like when you like the boss, it's like nobody's gonna care as much as you at the end of the day. So it's like I do have help, but at the end of the day, like if something got to get done, I gotta do it. Like if James
Mhm.
Harden, if he get traded to the Clippers, and I'm waiting for somebody to do a graphic, time is ticking. ESPN already posted, Bleacher Report already posted, House of Highlights. They already made some fancy real video of Harden and his new jersey that isn't even real. They just photoshopped that John. So
Yeah.
I think that it that's something that I had to go ahead and learn. But I'm really trying to make it you know a part of my career and something I can leverage when I work with like different brands, different companies to be like, yeah, I'm Miles. I'm a Morehouse graduate, soon to be NYU master's, uh, student. Uh, but I also have like my own platform, and so I think that's something that I can bring to the table and gives me like a step above somebody that doesn't have their own platform. So kind of like my advice to somebody who's in sports, who's in journalism, like start your own thing. If you're a writer, start your own blog. If you a podcast, start your own podcast. Like, but have something that nobody can take from you. Don't try to wait for no internship.
Mhm.
Don't try to wait for ESPN, Fox Sports, NBC to call so you can
Mhm.
get certain skills, create your own thing, and learn the skills yourself. So you're not dependent on anybody. And like my last point on that is like you see like these on-air talents at these mainstream media platforms that been working for 20 plus years, 15 years. We see Mark Jackson who got let go by Golden State. He goes ESPN with Van Gundy. They're a great duo. They're like, we'll exchange you for Doc Rivers at the time, who ain't have a job, or Doris Burke. I like Doris Burke and her analysis and all of that, but it's like they have no loyalty, so you need to create your own thing. So again, that
Mhm.
nobody can take from you.
Mhm. Very good point.
Mm.
All right, Dennis.
I agree to that. I agree to that 100%. I've been saying that for a while. I tell everybody start your own thing because you never know where it's gonna go. Another thing I had to ask you though, man. I seen you in 2020, and I was listening to you, and I was like, you know what, this boy got something here. I don't know what it is, but this boy got something. And I was like, yo, you got to come on the show. And he was like, he was sitting there, he was like, yeah, I come on the show, but he was like, I live in Philly. I'm like, I live in Philly too. He's like, I live in West Philly. I said, I do too. The studio in West Philly. Like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah,
but I couldn't never get you to the studio. That was the only thing. I couldn't never get you to the studio. I wanted to get you there because I wanted to, hey, you come to the studio. I never get you in the studio. I'll work on that soon though, to get you in the studio so you can be there, get the camaraderie. But going forward, now with your real talk with MJ, I see you looking to make a club Shay Shay move over there. That's what it looked like to me. Like you was looking to make a club Shay Shay move, have somebody pay you for your own platform.
yeah. And I see like the way that Shannon, like I be looking at this guy like he be on first take. So like he do the corporate thing Mondays and Tuesdays. Every
Right.
single day on the week, he's doing nightcap with either Gilbert or Chad Ochocinco. Like it's not gonna be a NBA game, a news headline, whatever it is that like goes by him. So like that's somebody that I look up to. His work ethic. I know how hard it is that like to do what he does, and everybody is trying to recreate like what he's doing. Like um I was able to like connect with some people like on his team that are really like the brains behind of all of that social media content. And a lot of those people, they started at Fox Sports, and they were like, shoot, I can start my own social media company. His guy CJ, his creative
Right.
director, I mean, this guy is off the chain. Like he's off the chain. So that's another example of like bet on yourself, invest in your own brand. But yeah, he's definitely somebody that I look up to, even though he is an athlete and like he played football, but he's knowledgeable about other sports. And there are some athletes that have created podcasts, and I'm like, this is well, I don't know what you're doing. Like this is like I don't know what you're doing. But like Shannon though, Shannon, I definitely like respect his grind and everything that he's about.
Yeah, I mean, just this time last year, he was about to be unemployed. And you look at it now, he got 3 million subscribers, got the number one show on
Literally,
iHeartRadio.
hey, let me say this too. So he leaves. So when Shannon was on uh Undisputed was their number one show. Since he
Right.
left, look at the views on YouTube. The show that I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, first things first, it got more
Right.
views. It got more views than Undisputed for every video. I'm like, every single video. Nick Wright is going to overtake Skip as the face of Fox Sports. Mark my words. That's going to happen. That's going to happen because Skip, his days is numbered. And there's a quote that like, my fraternity Omega Psi Phi, like we stand on, and it's humility with dignity, humbleness with pride. Again, humility with dignity, humbleness with pride. Like you gotta be humble. Like once you start getting cocky and feel like you got nothing else to prove, or you above certain stuff, like that's when you go ahead and lose. And he thought that he was better off without Shannon, and that Shannon wouldn't be able to recover. Now Shannon posted a video with 60 million views. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how God worked
That's
and all that.
that's 'cause honestly, that's the TV station. Like every 5 years, they gonna switch it out for somebody different. Like I
Yeah.
knew, well, every couple of years, I'm gonna say I knew Shannon Town was coming. But I knew Skip couldn't handle it by itself because Skip got his own show by itself that comes on once a week. Nobody really watches it. Nobody says nothing about it. He got his own show. Nobody does nothing about it. But that's why I was like, he got to have somebody there. I heard somebody else say that too. That he got to have some black people there, or they ain't gonna be a good show.
Mm-hmm.
But you, on the other hand, let's get back to you because you ain't got that much time. You, on the other hand, you've been doing a lot of shows with a lot of the newly famous people, like you and Stat Baby. How did that connection come through?
Yeah. So uh as I said before, like I'm a Q, and so and she's an AKA. And so
I
when I,
know it.
I crossed in spring 2022, April, and I think she crossed like I think fall 21. But uh they had this thing called Atlanta Greek Picnic. Man, oh man. Uh and so and so yeah, she was there and her line sisters, and I forget how like we got connected. Me and my line brothers, at Morehouse, got connected with them, but we did, and that's how like we like first met, like through like it's Atlanta Greek Picnic. It's like all the Greek people, like they all come together. It's mostly like the younger Greeks. It's some like older like Greek people like alphas and uh other like kappas and deltas and all that. But it's kind of like just a place where all the Greek people come together, have parties and all that stuff. So it was in Atlanta. It was jumping. And so like ever since then, like we was always like connected, we was always cool. And then we would always like support each other. She was doing her thing in Miami, I was doing my thing at Morehouse. And then uh the spring of my senior year, so like that, like 9 months later, uh she becomes like the host of It Is What It Is. And so it is what it is. It starts blowing up like off rip, like and she's interviewing like Stephen A and Damian Lillard, like all these people really doing her thing. What I really respect about her is that like she was doing this when they first started, when she was a senior trying to graduate. And I know how difficult it was for me last spring to graduate, to not only graduate, but to graduate on time, 4 years in, 4 years out. And so she's doing this, flying, from school to to where they record and all that. Um, and so I definitely like respected her grind. And kind of what that summer I had her on Real Talk. I asked her, and she's real down to earth. Like she's real down to earth. And then I would say I was humble enough. She extended me an invite, like uh, a few months after I had her on my platform, to be on her podcast. And so yeah, it was pretty cool to just see you know uh my name, Miles Johnson TV, on It Is What It Is YouTube channel. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, like she's like really doing her thing. And um it's kind of just like a connection that was made. And we always tell each other like we gonna stick together, we gonna ride together. We was at NABJ, the National Association for Black Journalists Convention. It was in Alabama last August. And we was there. We was like in like a group with like two other journalists as well, Daryl and Charlie. And they're both doing their thing, whether it's at like ESPN or NBC. And I feel like that's what it's all about, like surrounding yourself with like driven people that kind of push you to be better than like you already are.
I believe that as well, and I think that's great that y'all sticking together and growing together. I'm happy for you on that one. Now, this is what got me with you, man. When I saw you doing the basketball games, which you got one coming up this week, but I saw you actually doing the basketball games because they how did that come? A matter of fact, I don't even want to say. I want you to tell everybody how exactly did that come along?
Uh, say it one more time.
When you was announcing the basketball games from I think it was off the HBCU TV show. You
Oh
was doing the
yeah, oh
NBA games
yeah,
too.
yeah. So, and I credit this to just my professors at Morehouse, uh, and like they just be showing love. So I was able to like I did very well. Like I was driven so much in my classes. I was like I had this professor called, his name is Ron Thomas, and like you know he was the first black journalist in San Francisco, way back before I was even a thought. And then like after he retired, covered baseball, covered football, covered the Niners with Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. After he was done, kind of like in his professional career, he went on to teach. He's given me so many opportunities. Like I just made an effort, like let me impress him, let me do well in his class. And so the NBA came calling about this NBA HBCU broadcast on League Pass. And so I was only a junior at that time, the only junior that was like doing it with two seniors. But he offered my name. He said I would be good for it. I did it. And then I kind of just like kept up that relationship with the NBA. Um, and I had a internship with them as well. And they invited me for my senior year. And so I'm thinking like, all right, like that was a good run. I got in my junior year, my senior year, and then they called me up again. They was like, hey, like, we have an opportunity for you to do it again as an alum. And I was
Okay.
shocked because I'm like, I'm not even a HBCU student currently. I'm at a PWI right now. But I mean, I'll talk highly about HBCUs because it firmly like helped, my career and everything like that, and just having that identity of being a black man in America and being confident like in myself. I credit Morehouse and my HBCU for all of that. And so like it was just like a privilege, a great opportunity to really just be on that broadcast and have that for like my portfolio. So that was a pretty good opportunity, bro.
I thought it was too, man. When I seen you up there, man, I was so excited for you. I said, no, I got to go watch this on League Pass because they got my bull on there. And my
Yeah,
homies was like, who are your bull? I said, yo, he announced it with they put some HBCU students and put Miles on there, man. I'm watching it. That's
yeah,
how I was. And if you don't know, I'm rooting for you. If you think it's some hate, you can throw it in the trash. It's all rooting over here. I'm telling you.
yeah.
I'm always rooting
I
for
really
you.
appreciate that, and I'm gonna lie, I don't be doing like I don't like I just don't be having uh real like time, but like for the people that have really been like supporting and like showing love like in 2020 2021 when
Man,
uh Instagram wasn't looking, how it's looking, and I have, way more strides to go, but definitely blessed for like, the success Real Talk has had. But I just appreciate, all the love that you've shown as, a guy from Philly. I see you as like, as like a OG to me, like in this sports space. And so yeah, when
thank you
you
for that.
called, I was like, I gotta make it happen. I gotta make it happen for my guy.
Yes. And so now I'm gonna have to ask you about Philly sports. All right, we're gonna start with the Eagles because I've been hearing your talk. So we're gonna start with the Eagles. Free agency just passed. We're sitting here. What are your current thoughts of the state of the Philadelphia Eagles right now?
I like what they did. At first, I didn't want to get Saquon at first because I was like, I'd rather just keep DeAndre Swift, who was underutilized, who is somebody that, we didn't even know his fullest potential that he could be in Philly. He's a Philly guy. He went to Enon. He went to St. Joe's Prep. All of that. I'm very cool with like mutual friends and all that stuff. So I would really say like that was where my mind was at, and I really wanted to bolster up this defense. But I ain't gonna lie. Once we got Saquon, I was like, I was hyped. I was hyped. Like I was hyped. I was hyped. And then we got Bryce Huff. We got CJ Garner Johnson. And I think going back to Saquon, the reason why it made sense to get Saquon, once I look at, all right, DeAndre Swift going to the Bears for 3 years, 24 mil, is that if you're going to try to keep Swift for like $8 million, if you're going to pay like that money for a running back, that's been, that's been like a devalued position in the NFL, you might as well pay for a superstar. Like as much as I love Swift, it is levels to this. Like Saquon is a better talent than DeAndre Swift. And if he was able to do what he did in New York with that terrible, it was literally like the worst O-line in football. I can only imagine what he'll do when you got Devontae lined up, AJ lined up on the other side, a top 5 O-line. People saying that we're gonna miss Kelsey. We will miss him, but Stoutland is the best offensive line coach in the game. It's not freaking close. Hall of Famer right there. I think Cam Jurgens, who Jason Kelsey flat out picked, like he picked him in 2022. I want him to be my heir apparent. You don't see a lot of guys that in their prime, when they're an all-pro, they say, yeah, I want that guy. So that says a lot about Kelsey. So it's everything in place. Saquon will help Hurts in with his weaknesses. What's his biggest weakness? The blitz. He will help him a lot. I believe Hurts will get in the lab. And he will, work on, uncovering like when the blitz is coming, how to attack it. I believe Kellen Moore will be a better OC than Brian Johnson. Again, the bar is super low. So although I'm not the biggest Kellen Moore fan, I can say with confidence that he'll be better than what we saw last year. On defense, we got Bryce Huff. There is a little bit of a risk, right? It's a little bit of a risk because it's like he had like one good season where he had double digit sacks, but it's like, they betting on Bryce Huff to be the next Hassan Reddick. And I like that. I know High Roseman, he loves investing in defensive linemen and all that, and boasting that up. But I like Bryce Huff, especially because he's very, very like efficient and effective when he does rush the passer. Like that's something that he's very, very good at. I like that we restructured Josh Sweat's deal and brought him back. I like bringing CJ Garner-Johnson. People talk about he talks too much. That's what we need. We have no freaking heart, bro. It's crazy that I saw all the missed tackles. If CJ Garner-Johnson was there, he'd be cussing them boys out on the sideline. What the F are y'all doing? Make a tackle. Make a freaking tackle. And so I think Reed Blankenship, I don't think he's a starting safety. I would like to see somebody else who's a vet, Justin Simmons, come in, and then he can, be our starter. And then Reed Blankenship is the backup. And if he's needed, he can come in. But I don't think Reed Blankenship is a starting safety on a championship team. I don't know about that. And then with the cornerbacks, we need to draft a cornerback, in the draft. I like Kool-Aid. I like Kool-Aid a lot. If he drives 22, that would be great. But I still like Keely Ringo, and I think that he'll take a step. And even like with the back to the safeties with Sidney Brown, I think that what he showed last year was a lot of promise, and I believe he'll come back from his injury, and he'll be able to contribute a lot to this defense. So I like what I've seen. And then my last point on like this roster, he's a friend of mine. I like him a lot. I believe in Nakobe. Call me biased. People say they don't know too much on him. I believe in the guy. Obviously, we got to see more from him, but I believe in him. I believe in Devin White to really have a resurgence, and he has needed a change of scenery. And I believe in Vic Fangio as a great defensive mind that will get the best out of his players. So that's kind of my spill on like the Eagles' moves. And I would like for Nick Sirianni to stay the hell away from this offense. Let Kellen Moore do his thing. I don't want you infiltrating nothing. Let Kellen Moore do his thing. I don't want you just be a CEO that you want to be. Just be that CEO.
I just want Nick Sirianni to go back to being that T-shirt wearing, cuss everybody. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I need him to be that guy. Nick Sirianni from South Philly. That's the Nick Sirianni I need him to be. That's the guy I want him to be. That's all I'm saying. But I wanted you to say something about James Bradbury. He got to go. I understand you think he gonna re-bring himself back or, relive it. He got to go. And I think it's the number 24. I really think the number 24 is bad luck in Philadelphia. Number 24 in the Philadelphia Eagles jersey is bad luck. That's what I truly believe. It's just me. Now we got to talk about these Sixers, which after what happened this week, I just feel as though we need Embiid back, but I don't know if that's enough for us to make a run.
It's like our seating isn't very ideal. But I'll say this. I recorded an episode today, and I think let's say, all right, we're like the AFC, we're the AFC right now. We're the AFC right now.
I know what you're gonna say.
We're the AFC right now, and the the Celtics will lock up that number 1 seed in like the next 2 or 3 games probably. They already have it locked up, but like officially it's going to be locked up. So I don't think that we'll get to that 7th spot. But I believe we'll get that 8th seed. All right, cool. If we play the Celtics, we have this is all if Embiid is 90% or like he shows his MVP form. Like he got to be healthy for me for this to even matter. If he's not healthy, it doesn't matter. We're going to get swept. If he is healthy, the Sixers have the best player in the series. The Sixers have the best coach in the series. Joe Mazzulla can't coach. He can't coach at all. All they do is chuck up threes and play iso ball when it's close. And if they aren't hitting their threes, they have no other game. Nobody shoots a mid-range. Nobody posts up. Nothing. Joe Mazzulla cannot coach. I'm so glad that Ime Udoka, he done cheated on Nia Long and all that, and now he's out of there because Ime Udoka was way better than Joe Mazzulla. So I would just say that I don't know if the Sixers will win, but let's just say they gonna make it a 7-game series. I know that for sure. They're gonna make it a 7-game series. And if something goes our way, if something like happened in 2018 with Kawhi and a little bounce goes in, the Sixers might do a little upset. Plus, they're playing with house money, and the Celtics have all the pressure in the world. I'm not convinced with the Celtics at all, and so the Sixers could surprise some people with Embiid getting back to his MVP form if he can, get some like legs under him before the playoffs. And, with Nick Nurse, who I believe is a much better coach than Doc and has done a very good job given the circumstances that he's been under this season.
Okay. All right. Chocolate Girl, you got anything?
Hey, I'm here.
You got any last words?
Well, yeah. Well, Miles, before we close out the show, can you tell everybody how they can follow you and catch your podcast?
Yeah, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it's Real Talk with MJ, and on Twitter, it's Real Talk with MJ1. So we post episodes on Tuesday with my co-host Kobe, and I do Philly Frenzy, my Philly Frenzy segment, latest news in Philadelphia sports on Thursdays and Mondays. So yeah, be sure to tune in for that. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to be on here on the Side Jawn podcast. So yeah, it's been great.
Do you have any final thoughts to share with the people?
Yeah, I think really just if you listen to my story, like it's just a testament of hard work. That's all it is. Like that's all it is. I've been doing this consistently since 2020, and I'll say it again. I ain't nowhere near where I want to be, but Den has saw it like firsthand with just like since 2020. It's very, very rare that I miss like a whole bunch of time with content. I'm consistently trying to work and produce content, and if I can do it, like you can do it too. So 2 words that I live by is consistency and creativity. If you got both, there is no way you can lose.
Cool. And Dennis, my final thought is just do it. You want to do it? Just do it. Whatever that it is, just do it. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. So get busy and do something. Don't just sit around and waste your life away. That's my final thought. What about you, Dennis?
Right. And with that being said, that is the final thought. God bless. Great day, y'all.